The government wants to give the country's top cop more power to discipline and even fire members of his own force. Legislation was tabled today that would rewrite parts of the RCMP Act. The move comes months after CBC reported on systematic abuse within the ranks, and weeks after the RCMP commissioner said his hands are often tied when it comes to getting rid of so-called bad apples. The CBC's Laurie Graham has the details on the new bill. Laurie.
Peter, last month, RCMP Commissioner Bob Paulson made a public plea to strengthen the RCMP Act. Today, the government responded. Vic Taves arrived at a late-announced news conference armed with legislation that would give the commissioner of the RCMP more power to discipline, even fire officers.
We are also proposing to update the RCMP Act to give the Commissioner of the RCMP more authority to effectively manage the RCMP workplace.
The RCMP has been under intense scrutiny after the CBC revealed a number of cases of sexual harassment and bullying within the force. Complaints from female officers were dismissed by a disciplinary board. Some of the accused officers didn't lose their jobs or a day's pay. In some cases, they were transferred or promoted.
Moving forward, the Commissioner will have the authority to establish a single, comprehensive system for investigating and resolving harassment concerns.
Commissioner Bob Paulson went public last month, saying in an open letter that under the current RCMP Act, he couldn't control his members' conduct. Now, with the new changes, he says he can and he will.
I become the final authority on that. So in a manner of speaking, there's an opportunity for me to exercise my authority as the commissioner at the end of the day.
A little late, says former RCMP officer Krista Carl. She alleged she was sexually assaulted on the job, and her case was settled out of court.
I think that's a really big change for the RCMP to not be investigating themselves, because it speaks to the fact that it's an old boys network and it's an old boys culture. And how do you change that culture? An act of legislation can simply not make that happen. That's got to be instituted in a matter of time.
The legislation also calls for more transparency when it comes to public complaints about the RCMP. A new civilian commission will replace the old one in an effort to provide better accountability.
Canadians' confidence in the RCMP has been tested over the past few years. There's no doubt that changes are needed.
This was just one of two pieces of legislation announced today, Peter, all in an effort to get some last-minute business done before the House rises for the summer tomorrow.
All right, Laurie, thanks very much. Laurie Graham in Ottawa tonight.